Hi, everybody. So, I'm here to document yet another struggle. Okay, and I don't know how to title this video. Maybe it'll be Awareness is Not a Problem, or I don't know. Anyway, the long and short of it is I found a very good job, or at least it was the ideal job for me, as a dog handler and a trainer. And I found it through one of the trainers that I was working with, and I was an attendant in this daycare, so I was handling all these dogs. And of course, the trainer's wife has to be a narcissist, a gaslighter. You know, therapists or the mental health profession or whatever you want to call it um, tries to convince us that it's because we went through this trauma that we keep meeting these people. But I want to say it's not because we went through this trauma that we keep meeting these people. It's because we recognize them for what they are. Because we have experience, you know, point blank. And I'm starting to really be skeptical about pathologizing people that have survived these relationships and saying that it's because they're like preordained to meet these people. It's unfortunately because our experiences, for better or for worse, they mold us. They give us certain associations, they give us certain insights. And it has nothing to do with you being part of this cast that was like groomed or prepared to meet them. It's because they exist and we just happen to see through their bullshit easier than other people do for whatever reason. And maybe that's me trying to comfort my bruised ego because I was fired today for calling out this narcissist. But that's what I really believe. Don't make your. And I'm telling this to myself too. Don't feel that you're responsible for other people's ignorance when you meet a narcissist again and again and again. You see into their bullshit faster than other people. And that is their problem. That is the problem, and it has nothing to do with you. What happened here is that I was brought into this job. Now I have, just to, update you guys, I have a training certification now. So I'm certified in dog training knowledge. And I come into this daycare, and it's a beautiful daycare. It has a gorgeous, gorgeous setup, a gorgeous yard, a gorgeous social media presence. And of course, I'm freaking excited about all of this. So I'm working my butt off, and the narcissist puts me with big dogs on my first day. I handled 4 pit bulls, a golden retriever, a a whatever, like, name a big dog, Labrador, all of these dogs. And she puts me to the test. She doesn't tell me the names of these dogs. She doesn't tell me anything about their temperament. She has me watching them, running around, making sure that they don't bite one another. I'm playing with their hose, like playing with a hose with them. And she also wants me to take pictures of these dogs, about 20 dogs. So, on top of picking up poop, which is standard, cleaning, taking pictures, all of this stuff, she doesn't tell me anything about what they do, what their relationship to one another is. She just goes as she just expects me to handle it. And by the way, I handled it very well. I took really good pictures because I'm obsessed with dogs. It's something that I love. And lo and behold, she tells me that the pictures aren't at the right angle, that there are too many solo pictures in the album of one dog versus another dog. I'm like, okay, fair enough. So I'm going to distribute everything like you're saying. I'm going to have 5 pictures dedicated to them moving, to the way they move, 5 pictures dedicated to them in like a neutral position facing the camera, like solo pictures, and 5 pictures of them like uh, you know, in more stationary poses. And I said I'll try to do that so there's more harmony in the album. And this narcissist responds by saying, what did she write? No, you're not going to try. You're going to do it. And this is what she texts me on my 3rd day after I handled 20 dogs that are large dogs, cleaned, all this stuff. And I turned to her spineless husband. I say this spineless because, of course, you have to be spineless to live with a narcissist, as I was, as a lot of other people have been. Spineless in the sense that gaslit, whatever you want to say. A person that's been disemboweled. And I turn to him and I say spineless because he's a flying monkey, doesn't know how to stand up for himself, doesn't know how to stand up to her. And I say to him, your wife loves to play with semantics. I say try, she says you will do. He's like, oh, well, that's the way she is. She's very direct, and she used to manage 17 people on a floor in a corporate setting. And I respond, that's exactly why I left the corporate world. And he laughs. And I'm like, tone is important to me. Tone is important. And I go on my lunch break, and she starts her whole narcissistic spiel. Let's work through this. Let's do this. Let's la 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 la. And I say to her through text, I'm like, listen, mutual respect is very important to me. You have a great daycare. It's one of the most beautiful daycares I've ever seen. You're doing something right, etc., etc. I come back on my 4th day to work, or my 5th day, I forgot. And the insanity continues. I take 15 to 20 pictures of like 12 dogs. And she says that they're submitted late. And then her husband comes to me and says, listen, how do you like working here? And I'm like, I'm getting better, la 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 la. And he's like, I'm worried about your relationship with, let's just call her Sarah. I'm worried about your relationship with Sarah. And I'm like, I'm worried that you're gonna butt heads. And I told him, I'm like, I will outwork anybody. I just want to be respected. And if I sense that the purpose of me being here is to be degraded just because I'm not willing to accept that. He's like, well, that's maybe how you perceive it. I'm like, no, 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 no. It's clear to me that this person wants to get under my skin, you know. And this is the sort of thing I'm talking about. You're going to go through life and you're going to be in these social situations where people are going to ask you to settle. And they're going to ask you to lower yourself because they've lowered themselves, because they've seen other people lower themselves. And just because you are the only one in the room that sees things for what they are, doesn't mean that you're in the wrong, and doesn't mean that you are doesn't mean that you're in the wrong. You know, there's this tendency within therapeutic circles to pathologize us, to say that we're just going to keep meeting these people because we've had all these experiences and that's on us to fix. No, it's society that's broken. It's people that enable this sort of behavior. She legitimately enjoyed yelling at these dogs. She enjoyed slamming the door on these dogs. She enjoyed the control that she had over these dogs. And I could tell that she didn't love dogs. Her husband loves dogs. I love dogs. The people that were working for her loved the dogs. And what's so perverse about being there is that the dogs can't help themselves. They have to deal with her. And it's so grotesque. It's so grotesque. And I'm happy that I'm out of there. And I think I'm going to just start my own thing now because it's like I thought that if I got into the dog industry that I would find empaths, or mostly empaths. And it's true. I've met 90% empaths in this industry, but this evil person, I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed, and I'm not going to be browbeaten to stand up against this bitch. You know? It's disgusting. And I even said to her husband, it's not about the work. You know, I've worked with very difficult people. I've worked with lawyers. I've worked with lawyers that defended sociopaths. I was trying to give him a hint. I was trying. And I know how futile it is to try to convince a person that is brainwashed, that is whatever, that is tied to the narcissist. I know how futile it is. Maybe he will have a great awakening down the road, but I feel that we're part of a movement here. And unfortunately, we're going to just keep encountering them, and we're just going to keep standing up for ourselves and for what is right. And don't be ashamed of that, and don't let people throw a bunch of psychobabble at you and say, oh, well, it's because you were primed that you meet these people. Everybody meets them. Not everybody knows them. Not everybody knows how to react to them. and not everybody knows how to stand up to them. So give yourself credit for knowing, and don't be afraid to put your foot down, you know.